shall we three meet again?
In thunder, lightning, or in rain.
When the hurly-burly's done, when the battle's lost and won.
That will be ere the set of sun. Where the play?
Upon the heath.
There to meet with Macbeth.
There to meet with Macbeth.
I come, Grey Malkin.
Petticoats.
Anon. Fair is foul and foul is fair. Huddled through the fog and filthy air.
What bloody man is that? He can report, I see it by his flight, of the revolt in new estate.
This is a sergeant, who, like a good and hardy soldier, fought against my captivity. Hail, brave friend. Say to the king, the knowledge of the broil as thou didst leave it.
Doubtfully it stood, as two spent swimmers that do cling together and choke their arm. The merciless Macdonald, worthy to be a rebel, for to that the multiplied villainies of nature do swarm upon him. From the Western Isles, of kerns and gallows glasses is sublime, and fortune, on his damned quarrel smiling, shone like a rebel's horn. But all's too weak, for brave Macbeth, well he deserves that name. Disdaining fortune with his brandished steel which smoke with bloody execution, like valor's minion, carved out his passage till he faced the slave, and ne'er shook hands, nor bade farewell to him, till he unseamed him from the nave to the joust, and fixed his head upon our battle.
Oh, valiant cousin, worthy gentleman!
As whence the sun gives his reflection, shipwrecking storms and direful thunders break, so from that spring whence comfort seemed to come, discomfort swells. Mark, King of Scotland, mark, no sooner justice had with valored arm compelled these skipping currents to trust their heels, but that away, Lord, surveying vantage, with furnished arms and new supplies of men began a fresh assault.
Dismayed not this our captains, Macbeth and Banquo?
Yes, as sparrows, eagles, on the hair of the lion. If I say sooth, I must report they were as cannons overcharged with double crack. So they doubly redoubled strokes upon the foe, except they meant to bathe in reeking wounds or memorize another Golgotha. I cannot tell, but I am faint. My gashes cry for help.
So well thy words become thee as thy wounds. They smack of honor both. Go, get him sergeants. Who comes here?
The worthy Thane of Ross.
What a haste looks for his eyes! So should he look that seems to speak things strange.
Whence camest thou, worthy Thane?
From Fife, great king, where the Norwegian banners flout the sky and fans our people cold. Norway himself, with terrible numbers, assisted by that most disloyal traitor, the Thane of Cawdor, began a dismal conflict, till that Bellona's bridegroom, lapped in proof, confronted him with self-comparisons. Point against point, rebellious arm against arm, curbing his lavish spirit. And, to conclude, the victory fell on us.
Great happiness!
That now Swanio, the Norway's king, craves composition, nor would we deign him burial of his men, till he disbursed at St. Column's Inch $10,000 to our general use.
No more that Thane of Cawdor shall deceive our bosom interest. Go, pronounce his present death. And, with his former title, greet Macbeth.
I'll see it done.
What he hath lost, noble Macbeth hath won.
munched. Give me, quoth I, a ruddy witch, though rump-felled Runyon cries. Her husband's to Aleppo gone, master of the tiger, but in a sieve I'll thither sail, and like a rat without a tail, I'll do, and I'll do, and I'll do.
I'll give you in
Thou kind.
And I another.
I myself have all the other. And the very ports they blow, with all the quarters that they know in the shipman's card, I'll drain him dry as hay.
Sleep shall neither night nor day. Hang upon his penthouse lid, he shall live a man forbid.
Weary, 7 nights, 9 times 9 shall he dwindle, peak, and pine. And though his bark mouth be lost, that it shall be tempest tossed. Look what I have.
Show me, show me.
Here I have a pilot's son. Practice homeward he did come.
A drum! A drum! Macbeth doth come. The weird sisters, hand in hand, posters of the sea and land, thus to go about, thrice to thine, and thrice to mine, and thrice again to make up 9. Peace! The charms wound up.
So foul and fair a day I have not seen.
How far is it called the forest? What are these? So withered and so wild in their attire that seem not like inhabitants of the earth, and yet they're on it. Live you? Or are you aught that man may question? You seem to understand me by each at once her choppy finger lying upon her skinny lips. You should be women, but your beards forbid me to interpret that you are so.
Speak if you can. What are you?
All hail, Macbeth! Hail to thee, Thane of Worms!
All hail, Macbeth. Hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor.
All hail Macbeth, that shalt be king hereafter.
My good sir, why do you start and seem to fear the things that sound so fair? In the name of truth, are you fantastical, or that deed which outwardly you show? My noble partner, you greet with present grace and great prediction of noble having and of royal hope that he seems wrapped with all. And to me, you speak not. If you can look into the seeds of time and tell which grain will grow and which will not, speak then to me, who neither beg nor fear your favor, nor your hate.
Hail!
Hail! Lesser than Macbeth, but greater.
Not so happy, yet much happier.
Thou shalt get kings,
though thou be none.
So all hail Macbeth and Banquo.
Banquo and Macbeth.
All hail.
Stay, you imperfect speakers, tell me more. By Sinel's death, I know I am Thane of Glamis, but how of Cawdor? The Thane of Cawdor lives, a prosperous gentleman, and to be king stands not within the prospect of belief, no more than to be Cawdor. Say from whence you owe this strange intelligence, or why upon this blasted heath you stop our way with such prophetic greeting. Speak, I charge you.
The earth as bubbles as water has. These are them. Whither are they vanished?
Into the air, and what seemed corporal melted his breath into the wind. Would they had stayed?
For such things here did we do speak about? Or have we eaten from the insane root that takes a reason prisoner?
Your children shall be kings.
You shall be
And
king.
Thane of Cawdor, too, was it not so?
To the self-same tune and words. Who's there?
The king has happily received, Macbeth, the news of thy success. And when he reads thy personal venture in the rebels' fight, his wonders and his praises do contend, which be thine or his. Silence for that, and do you know the rest of the self-same words? He finds thee in the stout Norwegian ranks, nothing afeard of what thyself didst make. Strange images of death, as thick as tail came post with post, and everyone did bear thy praises in his kingdom's great defense, and pour them down before him.
We are sent to give thee from our royal master thanks, only to herald thee into his sight, not pay thee.
And, for an earnest of a greater honor, he bade me, from him, call thee Thane of Cawdor, In which edition, all hail, most worthy Thane, for it is thine.
What? Can the devil speak true?
The Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes?
Who was the Thane lives yet, but under heavy judgment bears that life which he deserves to lose. Whether he was combined with those of Norway, or did line the rebel with hidden help and vantage, or that with both, he labored in his country's wreck, I know not. But treason's capital, confessed and proved, have overthrown him.
Glamis, the Thane of Cawdor. The greatest is behind. Thanks for your pains. Do you not hope your children shall be kings, when those that gave the Thane of Cawdor to me promised no less to them?
That trusted home might yet enkindle you to the crown, besides the thing of Cawdor. But 'tis strange. And oftentimes to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truths. Win us with honest trifles. Betray us with deepest consequence. Cousins, a word, I pray you.
Two truths are told as happy prologues to the swelling act of the imperial theme. I thank you, gentlemen. This supernatural soliciting cannot be ill, cannot be good. If ill, why hath it given me earnest of success, commencing in a truth? I am Thane of Cawdor. If good, however I yield to that suggestion, whose horrid image doth unfix my hair, and make my seated heart knock at my ribs against the use of nature. Present fears are less than horrible imaginings. My thought, whose murder yet is but fantastical, shakes so my single state of man, that function is smothered in surmise, and nothing is but what is not.
Look how our partners rapt.
If chance will have me king, why, chance may crown me without my stir.
New honors come upon him, like these strange garments cleave not to their mold, but with the aid of use.
Come what come may, time and the hour runs through the roughest day.
Worthy Macbeth, we wait upon your leisure.
Give me your faith. My dull brain was wrought with things forgotten. Kind gentlemen, your pains are registered where every day I turn the leaf to read them. Let us toward the king. Think upon what hath chanced, and in more time, the interim having waited, let us speak our free hearts each to other.
Very glad.
Till then, enough. Come, friends.
Is execution done on Cawdor? Are not those in commission yet returned?
My liege, they are not yet come back. But I have spoke with one that saw him die, who did report that very frankly he confessed his treasons, implored your highness pardon, and set forth a deep repentance. Nothing in his life became him like the leaving it. He died as one that had been studied in his death to throw away the dearest thing he owed as 'twere a careless trifle.
There's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. He was a gentleman on whom I built an absolute trust. Oh, worthiest cousin! The sin of my ingratitude even now was heavy on me. Thou art so far before that swiftest swing of recompense is slow to overtake thee. Would thou hadst less deserved, that the proportion both of thanks and payment might have been mine. Only I have left to say, more is thy due than more than all can pay.
The service and the loyalty I owe in doing it pays itself. Your Highness's part is to receive our duties, and our duties are to your throne and state, children and servants, which do but what they should by doing everything safe toward your love and honor.
Welcome hither. I have begun to plant thee, and will labor to make thee full of growing. Noble Banquo, thou hast deserved no less, nor must be known no less to have done so. Let me enfold thee and hold thee to my heart.
There, if I grow, come on, the harvest is your own.
My plenteous joys, wanted in fullness, seek to hide themselves in drops of sorrow. Son, kinsmen, thanes, and you whose places are the nearest, know, we will establish our estate upon our eldest. Welcome! Whom we name hereafter the Prince of Cumberland.
My
need invest him only, but signs of nobleness, like stars, shall shine on all deservers. From hence to Inverness, and bind us further to you.
The rest is labor which is not used for you. I'll be myself the harbinger, and make joyful the hearing of my wife as your approach. So humbly take my leave.
My worthy Cawdor.
The Prince of Cumberland. That is a step on which I must fall down, or else o'erleap, for in my way it lies. Stars, hide your fires, but not light see my black and deep desires. The eye winketh the hand, yet let that be which the eye fears, when it is done, to see.
True worthy Banquo, he is full so valiant, and in his commendations I am fed. It is a banquet to me. Let's after him whose care has gone before to bid us welcome. It is a peerless kinsman.
They met me in the day of success, and I have learned by the perfectest report they have more in them than mortal knowledge. When I burned in desire to question them further, they made themselves air, into which they vanished. Whilst I stood wrapped in the wonder, I became missives from the king, who all hailed me Thane of Cawdor, by which title before these weird sisters had saluted me, and referred me to the coming on of time with, Hail, king that shalt be! This have I thought good to deliver thee, my dearest partner of greatness, that thou mightst not lose the dues of rejoicing by being ignorant of what greatness is promised thee. Lay it to thy heart, and farewell. Glamis thou art, and Cawdor, and shalt be what thou art promised. Yet do I fear thy nature. It is too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. Thou wouldst be great, art not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. But thou wouldst highly, that wouldst thou holily, wouldst not play false, and yet wouldst wrongly win. Thou'dst have, great Glamis, that which cries, thus thou must do if thou hast it, and that which rather thou dost fear to do than wishes should be undone. Hie thee hither, that I may pour my spirits in thine ear, and chastise with the valor of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round, which fate and metaphysical aid doth seem to have thee crowned withal. What is your tidings?
The king comes here tonight.
Thou art mad to say it. Is not thy master with him, who, wert so, would have informed for preparation?
So please you, it's true, our thane is coming. One of my fellows had the speed of him, who almost dead for breath had scarcely more than would make up his message.
Contending, he brings great news. The raven himself is hoarse, that croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here, and fill me from the crown to the toe, top full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood. Stop up the access and passage to remorse, that no compunctious visitings of nature shape my fell purpose, nor keep peace between the effect and it. Come to my woman's breasts and take my milk for gall, you murdering ministers. Wherever in your sightless substances you wait on nature's mischief. Come, thick night, and pall thee in the dunnest smoke of hell, that my keen knife see not the wound it makes, nor heaven peep through the blanket of the dark to cry, hold, hold. Great Glamis, worthy Cawdor, greater than both by the all-hail hereafter. Thy letters have transported me beyond this ignorant present, and I feel now the future in an instant.
My dearest love, Duncan comes here tonight.
And when goes hence?
Tomorrow, as he purposes.
Oh, never shall sun that morrow see. Your face, my thane, is as a book, where men may read strange matters. To beguile the time, look like the time. Bear welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. He that's coming must be provided for, and you shall put this night's great business into my dispatch, which shall to all our nights and days to come give solely sovereign sway and mastery.
We will speak further.
Only look it clear. To alter favor ever is to fear. Leave all the rest to me.
This castle had a pleasant seat. The air nimbly and sweetly recommends itself unto our gentle senses.
This guest of summer, the temple upon which Martlet does approve, by his loved masonry, that the heaven's breath smells wooingly here. No jutty, frieze, buttress, nor coign of vantage, but this bird hath made its pendant bed and procreant cradle, where they most breed and haunt. I have observed the air is delicate. See our honest hostess.
The love that follows us sometimes is our trouble, which still we think is love. Herein I teach you how you shall bid God yield us for your pains and thank us for your trouble.
All our service, in every point twice done, and then done double, were poor and single business to contend against those honors deep and broad, wherewith your majesty loads our house. For those of old, and the late dignities heaped up for them, we rest your hermits.
Where's the Thane of Carter? We coursed him at the heels and had a purpose to be his purveyor, but he rides well. And his great love, sharp as a sprout, hath helped him to his home before us. Fair and noble hostess, we are your guests tonight.
Your servants ever have theirs, themselves, and what is theirs in count? To make their audit at your highness's pleasure, still to return your own.
Give me your hand. Conduct me to mine host. We love him highly and shall continue our graces towards him. By your leave, hostess.
Done when 'tis done, then 'twere well were done quickly. If the assassination could trammel up the consequence and catch with his surcease success, that but this blow might be the be-all and the end-all here. But here, upon this bank and shoal of time, we'll jump the life to come. But in these cases, we still have judgment here. That we would teach bloody instructions, which being taught, return to plague the inventor. This even-handed justice commends the ingredients of our poisoned chalice to our own lips. He's here in double trust. First, as I am his kinsman and his thane, strong, both, against the deed. Then as his host, who should against his murderer shut the door, not bear the knife myself. Besides, this Duncan hath borne his faculties so meek, hath been so clear in his great office, that his virtues will plead like angels, trumpet-tongued against the deep damnation of his taking off. In pity, like a naked newborn babe striding the blast. Or heaven's cherubim, horsed upon the sightless couriers of the air, shall blow the horrid deed in every eye, that tears shall drown the wind. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, and only vaulting ambition, which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other. How now, what news?
He has almost supped. Why have you left the chamber?
Hath he asked for me?
No, you not, he has.
We will proceed no further in this business. He hath honored me of late, and I have bought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which will be worn now in their newest gloss, not cast aside so soon.
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it slept since, and wakes it now to look so green and pale at what it did so freely? From this time such I account thy love. Art thou afeard to be the same in thine own act and valor as thou art in desire? Would thou have that which thou esteemest the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, living I dare not wait upon I will let thou cat me edge.
Prithee, peace! I dare do all that may become a man, who dares do more is none.
What beast was then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man. And to be more than what you were, you would be so much more the man. No time, no place did then adhere, yet you would make them both. They have made themselves, and not their fitness now does unmake you. I have given suck, and know how tender 'tis to love the babe that milks me. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out, had I so sworn as you have done in this.
If we should fail?
We fail. But screw your courage to the sticking place, and will not fail. When Duncan is in his sleep, whereto the rather shall his day's hard journey soundly invite him, his two chamberlains will I with wine and wassail so convince that memory, the water of the brain, should be a fume, and the receipt of reason bring back home. When in swinish sleep their drenched natures lies in death, what cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan? What not put upon his spongy officers, who shall bear the guilt of our great quell?
Bring forth men children only, for thy undaunted metal should compose nothing but males. Will it not be received when we have marked with blood those sleepy two of his own chamber, and used their very daggers, that they have done it?
Who dares receive it other, as we shall make our griefs and clamor roar upon his death?
I am settled, and bend up each corporal agent to this terrible feat. Away, and mock the time with fairest show. False face must hide, and false heart doth know.
How goes the night?
The moon is down. I have not heard the clock.
She goes down at 12.
I take it 'tis later, sir.
Hold, take thy sword. There's husbandry in heaven. The candles are all out. Take thee that too. A heavy summons lies like lead upon me, and yet I cannot sleep. Merciful powers restrain in me the cursed thoughts that nature gives way to in repose. Give me my sword. Who's there?
A friend?
What, sir? Not yet at rest. The king's abed. He hath been unusual pleasure, and sent forth great largesse to your office. With this diamond, you greet your wife withal by the name of most kind hostess, and shut up in measureless content.
Being unprepared, our will became the servant to defect, which else should free of rot.
All's well. Last night, I dreamt of the weird sisters. To you, they speak some truth.
I think none of them. Yet, when we can entreat an hour to serve, we would spend it in some words upon that business, if you would grant the time.
Very glad.
If you shall cleave to my consent when 'tis, it shall make honor for you.
So I lose none in seeking to augment it. My bosom franchise and my allegiance clear. I shall.
Good repose the while.
The likes to you, sir. Man.
Go bid thy mistress, when my drink is ready, she strike upon the bell. Get thee to bed. Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand. Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not fatal vision, sensible to feeling as to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation, proceeding from the heat oppressed brain? I see thee yet, in form as palpable as this which now I draw. Thou marshals me in the way that I was going. Such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools of the other senses, or else worth all the rest. I see thee still, and on thy blade and dudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. There's no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. Now o'er the one-half world, nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse the curtain sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offerings, and withered murder, alarmed by his sentinel, wolf, whose howls his watch. Thus with his stealthy pace, with Tarquin's ravishing strides, towards his design moves like a ghost. Thou sure and firm said earth. Hear not my steps which way they walk, for fear thy very stones pray to my whereabout, and take the present work of the time which now suits with it. While as I threat, he lives. Worse to the heat of deeds, too cold breath gives. I go, and it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
That which hath made them drunk hath made me bold, but hath quenched them, hath given me fire. Woo! Peace. It was the owl that shrieked, the fatal bellman which gives the sterns good night. He is about it. The doors are open, and the surfeited grooms do mock their charge with snores. I have drugged their possets that death and nature do contend about them whether they live or die.
Who's there? What? Who?
Alack, I am afraid they have awaked and 'tis not done. The attempt and not the deed confounds us. Hark, I let their daggers run. He could not miss them. Had he not resembled my father as he slept, I doubt. My husband.
I have done the deed. Didst thou not hear a noise?
I heard the owl scream and the crickets cry. Did not you speak?
When?
Now.
As I descended?
Aye.
Hark.
Amen.
Who lies in the second chamber?
Donald Bailey.
This is a sorry sight.
A foolish thought to say a sorry sight.
As one did laugh in his sleep, and one cried murder, that they did wake each other. I stood and heard them, but they did say their prayers and address them again to sleep.
There are two lodged together.
One cried, God bless us, and amen the other, as they had seen me with these hangman's hands, listening their fear. I could not say amen when they did say God bless us.
Consider it not so deeply.
But wherefore could I not pronounce amen? I had most need of blessing, and amen stuck in my throat.
These deeds must not be thought after these ways, so it would make us mad.
I thought I heard a voice cry, sleep no more. Macbeth does murder sleep. The innocent sleep. Sleep that knits up the raveled sleeve of care, the death of each day's life. Sore labor's bath, balm of hurt minds. Great nature's second course, chief nourisher in life's feast.
What do you mean?
Still he cried, sleep no more, of all the house. Glamis have murdered sleep, and therefore Cawdor shall sleep no more. Macbeth shall sleep no more.
Who was it that thus cried?
Sleep no more.
Why, worthy Thane, you do unbend your noble strength that seeks so brain-sickly of things. Go, get some water and wash this filthy witness from your hand. Filthy witness? Why did you bring these daggers from the place? They must lie there. Go, carry them, and smear the sleepy grooms with blood.
I'll go no more. I'm afraid to think what I have done. Look on it again, I dare not.
Infernal brothers, give me the daggers. The sleeping and the dead are his pictures. 'Tis the eye of childhood that fears a painted death. If ye do bleed, I'll gild the faces of the grooms withal, for it must seem their fate.
Whence is that knocking? How is it with me when every noise appalls me? What hands are here?
Sleep no more.
Ah! They pluck out mine eyes. Will all great Neptune's ocean wash this blood clean from my hand? No. This my hand will the multitudinous seas incarnadine, making the green one red.
My hands are of your color, but I shame to wear a heart so white. I hear knocking at the south entry. Retire we to our chamber. A little water clears us of the steed. How easy it is then. Your constancy hath left you unattended. Hark! More knocking! Put on your nightgown as occasion calls and show street watchers. We are those Napoleon thoughts.
To know my deed, 'twere best not know myself. Wake Duncan with thy knocking, and would thou couldst.
Come in, equivocator.
come hither for stealing out of a French hose? Come in, Taylor. Here you may roast your goose. Knock, knock, knock. Never quiet. What are you? But this place is too cold for help. I'll devil port it no further. I had thought to let in some of all professions, go the primrose way, to the everlasting bonfire. Anon, anon. I pray you, sir, remember the porter?
Was it so late, friend, ere you went to bed that you do lie so late?
Faith, sir, we were carousing to the second cock, and drink, sir, is a great provoker. Three things.
And what 3 things does drinking provoke?
Marry, sir, nose painting, sleep, and, urine. Lechery, sir, it provokes and it unprovokes. It provokes the desire, but it takes away the performance. Therefore, much drink may be said to be an equivocator with lechery. It makes him and it mars him. It sets him on and it takes him off. It provokes him and it disheartens him. It makes him stand to and not stand to. In conclusion, he equivocates him in a sleep and giving him the lie, leaves.
I believe drink gave thee the lie last night.
It did, sir, in the very throat on me. But I requited him for his lie, and I think being too strong for him, so he took up my legs sometime. I made a shift to cast him out.
Is that master, sir? Our knocking has awakened. Here he comes.
Good morrow, noble.
Good morrow.
Good morrow, both.
Is the king stirring where he came?
Not yet.
He did command me to call timely upon him. I did almost slip the hour.
I'll bring you to him.
I know this is a door of trouble for you, but yet 'tis one.
The labor we delight in physics main. This is the door.
Also both make the call. 'Tis my limited service.
Goes the king hence today?
He does. He did appoint so.
The night has been unruly. Where we lay, our chimneys were blown down, and as they say, lamentings heard in the air. Strange streams of death and prophesied, with accents terrible, of dire combustion and confused events. New hatch to the woeful time. The obscure bird clamored the livelong night. Some say the earth was feverish and did shake.
It was a rough night.
My young remembrance cannot parallel a fellow to it.
Oh, horror! 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 Tongue nor heart cannot conceive nor name thee.
What's the matter?
Confusion has made its masterpiece. Most sacrilegious murder has broke off the Lord's anointed temple and stood against the life of the building.
What did you say, the life?
Mean you, his majesty!
Approach the chamber and destroy your sight with a new gorgon. Do not bid me speak. See, then speak yourselves. Awake! Awake! Ring the alarm bell! Murder and treason. Malcolm Banquo Donovan, shake off this downy sleep that's counterfeit, and look unto death itself. Up, up to see the great doom's image. Malcolm Banquo, as from their graves, rise up like sprites. The countenance is horror.
What's the business?
Ring the alarm!
That such a hideous trumpet cost upon the sleepers of the house. Speak, speak.
Oh, gentle lady, what I can speak is not for you to hear. The repetition on a woman's ear would murder to fell. Oh, Banquo! Banquo, our royal master's been murdered.
Whoa! Alas! What? In our house?
Too cruel anywhere. Dear dove, I prithee, contradict thyself. Say it is not so.
Had I but died an hour before this chance, I had lived a blessed time. For from this instant, there's nothing serious in mortality. All is but toys. Renown and grace is dead. The wine of life is drawn, and the mere lees is left this vault to brag of.
What is amiss?
You are, who do not know it. The spring, the head, the fountain of your blood is stopped. The very source of it is stopped.
The royal father's been murdered.
Oh? By who? Those of his chamber, as it seemed, had done it. Their hands and faces were all batched with blood. So were their daggers, which unwiped we found upon their pillows. They stared and were distracted. No man's life was to be trusted with them.
Oh, yet I do repent me of my fury that I did kill them.
Wherefore did you so?
Tempered, loyal, neutral, a moment, no man. The expedition of my violent love outrun the pause of reason. Here lay Duncan, his silver skin laced with his golden blood, and his gashed stabs looked like a breach in nature for ruin's wasteful entrance. There, the murderers, steeped in the colors of their trade, their daggers unmannerly breached with gore. Who could refrain that had a heart to love, and in that heart courage to make his love known?
Help me, hands.
Get to the lady.
Why do we hold our tongues so that motion may claim this argument for ours?
What should be spoken here? Were our fate hidden in auger homing Russian seas? Us let's away, our tears are not yet brewed.
Nor our strong sorrow upon the foot of motion.
Look to the lady. And when all our naked frailties are hid and suffer an exposure, let us meet and question this most bloody piece of work to know it perfectly. Fears and scruples shake us. In the great hand of God I stand, and thence against undivulged pretense I fight of treasonous malice.
So do I. So all.
Let's briefly put on manly readiness and meet in the hall together.
Welcome to this.
What will you do? Let's not consort with them. To show an unfelt sorrow is an office which the false man does easy. Out to England.
To Ireland our separated fortunes shall keep us both as safe, for where we are, there's daggers in men's slants. The nearer blood, the nearer bloody.
This murderous shaft that shot hath not yet lighted, and our safest way is to avoid the aim. Therefore to horse, and let us not be dainty of leave-taking, but shift away. There's warrant in that death which steals itself when there's no mercy left.
I have seen hours dreadful and things strange, but this sore night hath trifled former knowings.
Ah, good father, thou seest the heavens, as troubled with man's act threaten his bloody stage. By the clock 'tis day, and yet dark night strangles the traveling lamp. Is it night's predominance or the day's shame, that darkness does the face of earth and tomb, when living light should kiss it?
'Tis unnatural, even like the deed that's done. On Tuesday last, a falcon, towering in her private place, was by a mouthing owl hawked at and killed.
And Duncan's horses, a thing most strange and certain, beauteous and swift, the minions of the race, turned wild in nature, broke their stalls, flung out, contending against obedience, as to make war with mankind.
It said they eat each other.
They did so to the amazement of mine eyes I looked upon. Here comes the good Macduff. How goes the roll, sir, now?
Why, see you not?
Is it known who did this more than bloody deed?
Those that Macbeth had slain.
Alas the day, what good could they pretend?
They were Suborn, Malcolm and Donovan, the king's two heirs, are stolen away, which brings upon them suspicion of the deed.
Against nature still. Thriftless ambition that will raven up thine own life's means. Then 'tis most like the sovereignty will fall upon Macbeth.
He's already named. They're gone to Scone to be invested.
Where is Duncan's body?
That's Conkill, the sacred storehouse of their ancestors and guardian of their bones.
Will you to Scone?
No, I'll spy.
Well, I will thither.
Well, hope you find things well done there. Adieu. At least our old roads sit easier than our new.
Farewell, father.
God's benison go with you and with those who would make good of bad and friends of foes.
King, Cawdor, Glamis, all those weird women promised, and I feared thou did play its most folly. Yet it was said, it should not stand in thy posterity, but that myself should be the root and father of many kings. If there comes truth in them, as upon thee, Macbeth, their speeches shine. Why, by the verities, on thee made good, may they not be my oracles as well, said to me.
Hush. Here's our chief guest.
If he had been forgot, it had been as a gap in our great feast. and all thing unbecoming.
Tonight we hold a solemn supper, sir, and I'll request your presence.
Let your highness command upon me, to the which my duties are with the indissoluble tie, forever knit.
Ride you this afternoon?
Aye, my good lord.
We should have else desired your good advice, which hath been both grave and prosperous in this day's council. But we'll take tomorrow. Is it far you ride?
As far, my lord, as will fill up the time twixt this and supper. Go not my horse the better. I shall become a bar with a knight for a dark hour or twain.
Fail not our feast.
My lord, I will not.
We hear our bloody cousins are bestowed in England and in Ireland, not confessing their cruel parricide, filling their hearers with strange invention. But of that tomorrow, when therewithal we shall have a cause of state craving us jointly. Hie you to horse, adieu till you return at night. Goes Leon's with you.
Aye, my good lord. Our time does call upon us.
I wish your horses swift and sure of foot, and so I do commend you to their backs. Farewell. Let every man be master of his time till 7 at night. To make society the sweeter welcome, we will keep ourselves till supper time alone. Well then, God be with you. Sirrah, a word with you. Attend those men our pleasure.
They are, my lord, without the palace gate.
Bring them before us. To be thus is nothing but to be safely thus. Our fears and banquos stick deep, and in his royalty of nature reigns that which would be feared. 'Tis much he dares, and to that dauntless temper of his mind, he hath a wisdom that doth guide his valor to act in safety. There's none but he whose being I do fear, and under him my genius is rebuked, as it is said Mark Antony's was by Caesar. He chid the sisters when they first put the name of king upon me, and bade them speak to him. Then, prophet-like, they hailed him father to a line of kings. Upon my head they placed a fruitless crown, and put a barren scepter in my grip, thence to be wrenched with an unlineal hand, no son of mine succeeding. If it be so, for Banquo's issue have I filed my mind. For them, the gracious Duncan have I murdered. Put rancors in the vessel of my peace, only for them, and mine eternal jewel, given to the common enemy of man, to make them kings. The seed of Banquo, kings. Rather than so, come fate into the list, and champion me to the utterance. Who's there? Now, go to the door and stay there till we call. Was it not yesterday we spoke together?
It was, so please your highness.
Well then, now have you considered of my speeches? Know that it was he in the times past which held you so under fortune, which you thought had been our innocent self. This I made good to you in our last conference, passed in probation with you how you were born in hand, how crossed, the instruments, who wrought them, and all things else that might to half a soul to a notion crazed say, thus did Banquo.
You made it known to us.
I did so, and went further, which is now our point of second meeting. Do you find your patience so predominant in your nature that you can let this go? Are you so gospeled to pray for this good man and for his issue, whose heavy hand hath bowed you to the grave and beggared yours forever?
We are bed, my liege.
In a catalogue you go from men, as hounds and greyhounds, mongrels, spaniels, curs, shuffs, water rugs, and demi-wolves are clept all by the name of dogs. The valued file distinguishes the swift, the slow, the subtle, the housekeeper, the hunter. Everyone according to the gift which bounteous nature hath in him closed, whereby he does receive particular addition from the bill that writes them all alike, and so have men. Now, if you have a station in the file, not in the worst rank of manhood, say it, and I will put that business in your bosoms, whose execution takes your enemy off, grapples you to the heart and love of us, who wear our health but sickly in his life, which in his death were perfect.
I am one, my lord, whom the vile blows and buffets of the world hath so incensed. I am reckless what I do to spite the world.
And I another, so weary with disasters, tugged with fortune that I would set my life on any chance to mend it or be rid on it.
Both of you know Banquo was your enemy.
True, my lord.
So was he mine, and in such bloody distance that every minute of his being thrusts against my nearest of life. And though I could, with bare-faced power, sweep him from my sight, and bid my will about you. Yet I must not, for certain friends that are both his and mine, whose loves I may not drop, but wail his fall, who I myself struck down. And thence it is that I to your assistance do make love, masking the business from the common eye for sundry weighty reasons.
We shall, my lord, perform what you command us.
Your spirits shine through you. Within this hour at most, I will advise you where to plant yourselves. Acquaint you with the perfect spy of the time, the moment of it, for it must be done tonight. And something from the palace, always thought that I require a clearness. And with him, to leave no rubs nor botches in the work, Fleance, his son, and keeps him company, whose absence is no less material to me than is his father's, must embrace the fate of that dark hour. Resolve yourselves apart. I'll come to you anon.
We are so resolved, my lord.
I'll call upon you straight. Abide within. It is concluded. Banquo, thy soul's flight and find heaven must find it out tonight.
Is Banquo gone from court?
Aye, madame, but returns again tonight.
Say to the king I would attend his leisure for a few words.
Madame, I will.
Not sad, all spent where our desire is got without content. 'Tis safer to be that which we destroy, than by destruction dwell in doubtful joy. Why now, my lord? Why do you keep alone? Of sorriest fancies your companions making, using those thoughts which should indeed have died, but then they think on. Things without all remedy should be without regard. What's done is done.
We have scotched the snake, not killed it. She'll close and be herself, whilst our poor malice remains in danger of her former tooth. But let the frame of things disjoint. Both the worlds suffer, ere we will eat our meal in fear, and sleep in the affliction of these terrible dreams that shake us night. Better be with the dead, whom we, to gain our peace, have sent to peace, than on the torture of the mind to lie in restless ecstasy. Duncan is in his grave. After life's fitful fever, he sleeps well. Treason has done his worst. Nor steel, nor poison, malice domestic, foreign levy, nothing can touch him
Come
further.
on, gentle my lord, snake o'er your rugged looks. Be bright and jovial amongst your guests tonight.
So shall I, love, and so I pray be you. Let your remembrance apply to Banquo. Present him eminence both with eye and tongue. Unsafe the while that we must lave our honors in these flattering streams and make our faces visitors to our hearts, disguising what they are.
You must leave this.
Full of scorpions is my mind, dear wife. Thou knowest that Banquo and his Fleance lives.
But in the nature's copies not eternal.
There's comfort yet. They are assailable. Then be thou jocund, ere the bat hath flown his cloistered flight, ere to black Hecate summons the shard-born beetle with his drowsy hums hath rung night's yawning peal. There shall be done a deed of dreadful note.
What's to be done?
Be innocent of the knowledge, dearest Chuck, till thou applaud the deed. Come, sealing night, scarf up the tender eye of pitiful day, and with thy bloody and invisible hand, cancel and tear to pieces that great bond which keeps me pale. Light thickens, and the crow makes wing to the rooky wood. Good things of day begin to droop and drowse, while night's black agents to their praise do rouse. Thou marvelest at my words, but hold thee still! Things bad begun make strong themselves by ill, so prithee, go with me.
But who did bid thee join with us?
Macbeth.
She needs not our mistrust, for she delivers our offices and what we have to do to the measure just.
Let's stand with us. The WestJet glimmers with some streaks of day. Now spurs the lady traveler apace to gain the time of the inn, and there approaches the subject of our watch.
I hear horses.
The light there.
Then 'tis he. The rest that are within the note of expectation already are within the court.
His horses go about.
Almost a mile, but he does so usually, so most men do. From hence to the palace gate to make it their walk.
A light! A light!
'Tis he.
Stand to it.
There shall be rain tonight.
Let it come down!
Fly, Fleance, fly!
Who did strike out the lights?
Was not the way!
There is but one down. The sun has fled.
Sit down. At first and last, a hearty welcome.
Thanks to your majesty.
Ourself will mingle with society and play the humble host. Our hostess keeps her state. But in best time, we will require her welcome.
Pronounce it for me, sir, to all our guests. For my heart speaks they are welcome.
See, they encounter thee with our heart's thanks. Both sides are even. Here, I'll sit in the midst. Be large in mirth. Anon, we'll drink a measure the table round. There's blood upon my face.
'Tis Banquo said.
'Tis better thee without than he within. Is he dispatched?
My lord, his throat is cut. That I did for him.
Thou art the best of the cutthroats. Yet he's good that did the like for Fleance. If thou didst it, thou art the nonpareil.
Most royal sir, Leon's escaped.
Then comes my fit again. I had else been perfect, whole as the marble, founded as the rock, as broad and gentle as the casing air. But now I am cabined, cribbed, confined, bound into saucy doubts and fears. But Banquo's safe.
Aye, my good lord, safe in a ditch he bides, with 20 trench gashes on his head, the least the depth of nature.
Thanks for that. There the grown serpent lies. The worm that's fled hath nature that in time will venom breed. No teeth for the present. Get thee gone. Tomorrow we'll hear ourselves again.
My royal lord, you do not give the cheer. The feast is sold, that is no longer vouched. What is a making, 'tis given with welcome. To feed we're best at home. From thence the sauce to meat is ceremony. Meeting were bare without it.
Sweet remembrancer, now good digestion wait on appetite, health on both.
May it please your highness, sit.
Here have we now our country's honor roofed, where the graced person of our Banquo present. Who may I rather challenge for unkindness than pity for mischance?
His absence, sir, lays blame upon his promise. Please it your highness to grace us with your royal company.
The table's full.
Here is a place reserved, my lord.
Where?
Why, here, my lord. What is that moves your highness?
Which of you have done this?
Why, my lord?
Thou canst not say I did it. Never shake thy gory locks at me.
Gentlemen, rise. His highness is not well.
Sit, worthy friends. My lord is often thus, and hath been from his youth. Pray you, keep seat. The fit is momentary. Upon a thought he will again be well. If much you note him, you shall offend him, and extend his passion. Feed and regard him not. Come. Are you a man?
Aye, and a bold one that dare look upon that which might appall the devil.
Proper stuff. This is the very painting of your fear. This is the air-drawn dagger which you said that you took Duncan. These flaws and stops, impostors to true fear. Would well become a woman's story at a winter's fire, authorized by her granddam. Shame itself. Why do you make such faces? When all's done, you look but on a stool.
Prithee, see there. Behold. Look. Look. How say you? Why, what care I? If charnel houses in our graves must send those that we bury back, our monuments shall be the maws of kites.
What? Quite unmanned and folly.
If I stand here, I saw him.
Fly, for shame.
Blood hath been shed ere now in the olden time. Ere humane statute purged the gentle wheel. Aye, and since too, murders have been performed, too terrible for the ear. The time has been that when the brains were out, the man would die, and there an end. But now they rise again with 20 mortal murders on their crowns and push us from our stools. This is more strange than such a murder is.
My worthy lord, your noble friends do lack you.
I do forget. Do not muse at me, my most worthy friends. I have a strange infirmity, which is nothing to those that know me. Come, love and health to all, then I'll sit down. Give me some wine. Fill. Full. I drink to the general joy of the whole table, and to our dear friend Banquo, whom we miss. Would he were here. To all, and him we thirst, and all to all.
Our duty is
Avaunt and quit my sight. Let the earth hide thee. Thy bones are marrowless. Thy blood is cold. Thou hast no speculation in those eyes which thou dost glare with.
Think of this, good peers, but as a thing of custom, 'tis no other. Only it spoils the pleasure of the time.
What man dare I dare? Approach thou like a rugged Russian bear, the armed rhinoceros, the Hircan tiger. Take any shape but that, and my firm nerve shall never tremble. Or be alive again, and dare me to the desert with thy sword. If trembling I inhabit then, protest me the baby of a girl. Hence, horrible shadow, unreal mockery, Hence. Why so? Being gone, I'm a man again. Pray you, sit still.
You have displaced the mirth, broke the good meeting with most admired disorder.
Can such things be and overcome us like a summer's cloud without our special wonder? You make me strange, even to the disposition that I owe, and even now I think that you can behold such sights and keep the natural ruby of your cheeks when mine is blanched with fear.
What sights, my lord?
I pray you speak not. He grows worse and worse. At once, good night. Stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once.
Good night. They better help attend his majesty.
A kind good night to all. Go!
It will have blood, they say. Blood will have blood. Stones have been known to move, and trees to speak. Augurs and understood relations have by magpies and choughs and rooks brought forth the secretest man of blood. What is the night?
Almost at odds with the morning, which is which.
How sayest thou that Macduff denies his person at our great bidding?
Did you send to him, sir?
I hear it, by the way, but I will send. There's not one of them, but in his house I keep a certain feed. I will tomorrow, and betimes I will to the weird sisters. More shall they speak, for now I am bent to know by the worst means the worst. For mine own good, all causes shall give way. I'm in blood stepped in so far that should I weigh no more, returning were as tedious as go o'er. Strange things I have in head that will to hand, which must be acted ere they may be scanned.
You lack the season of all nature's sleep.
Come, will to sleep. My strange and self-abuse is the initiate fear that wants hard use. We're yet but young indeed.
Fleon's killed, for Fleon's fled. Men must not walk too late. Who could not want the thought how monstrous it was for Malcolm and Donalbain to kill their gracious father? Damned fast. How it did grieve Macbeth. Did he not straighten pious rage, the two delinquents tear them were the slaves of drink and thralls of sleep? Was not that nobly done? Aye, and wisely too, for 'twould have angered any heart alive to hear the men deny it. So that I say, he has borne all things well, and I do think, had he dunked his children under his key, as he please heaven, he shall not. They should learn what's more to kill a father. So should Leon. But peace. For from broad words and cause he failed his presence at the tyrant's feast, I hear Macduff lives in disgrace. Madam, can you tell where he bestows himself?
The son of Duncan, whom this tyrant holds a due of birth, lives in the English court, and is received with the most pious Edward with such graces that the malevolence of fortune nothing takes from his high respect. Thither Macduff is gone to bring holy kings on his stage, to wake Northumberland and warlike Suid, that by the help of these, with him above to write all the work, we might again give to our table meat, sleep to our nights, free from our peace, and make this bloody night do faithful homage and receive free honors all which we pine for now. And this report has so exasperated the king that he prepares for some attempt of war.
Send he to Macduff.
He did. And with an absolute sir, not I, the cloudy messenger turns in his head and hums as who should say you'll rue the time that clogs you with this answer.
And that might well advise him to a cause told what distance his wisdom can provide. Some holy angel fly to the court of England and unfold his message ere he come, that a swift blessing should soon return to this, our suffering country, under a hand accursed.
Send my prayers with him.
Thrice the blinded cat hath mewed,
Thrice and once the hedge pig whined.
Harper your cries, 'tis time, 'tis time! Round about the cauldron go, in the poison entrails throw!
Toad that under cold stone day and night has 31.
sweltered venom, sleeping cat, boil out first in the charmed pot.
Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Fillet of any snake hidden the cauldron, boil and bake.
Eye of newt toll frog!
Wool of bat and tongue of dove.
Adder's fork and blind worm sting.
Lizard leg and howlet's wing.
Or a charm of powerful trouble, like a hell broth, boil and bubble!
Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Scale of dragon, tooth of wolf.
Which is money?
Blood, gulf of the ravine, salt sea shark.
To Hemlock, take to the dog.
Liver of blaspheming Jew.
Gall of goaded slips of you. Slit it in the moon's eclipse. No, it's
Cool it with the baboon's blood, then the charm is firm and good.
Oh, well done. Oh, I commend your pains. And everyone shall share in the gains. And now, about the called ring.
Something wicked this way comes.
Open locks.
Whoever knocks.
How now, you secret black and midnight hags? what is it you do?
A deed without a name.
I conjure you by that which you profess. However you come to know it, answer me. Though you untie the winds and let them fight against the churches, though the yeasty waves confound and swallow navigation up, though bladed corn be lodged and trees blown down, though castles topple on their warders' heads, though palaces and pyramids do slope their heads to their foundations, though the treasure of nature's Germans tumble all together, even till destruction sicken, answer me to what I ask you.
Speak, demand.
Will answer.
Say, if thou hadst rather hear it from our mouths.
Or from our master.
Call him. Let me see him.
Pour in Saul's blood that have eaten her 9 pharaohs.
Grease that sweating from the murderer's gibbet, throw into the flame. Come high and low, thyself and office deftly show.
Tell me, thou unknown power.
He knows thy thought. Hear him speak, but say thou not.
Macbeth, Macbeth, Macbeth. Beware Macduff. Beware the thane of fight. Dismiss me, enough.
Whatever thou art, for thy good caution, thanks. Thou hast heart to my fear right. But one word more.
He will not be commanded. But here's another one.
Macbeth, Macbeth, Macbeth.
Had I 3 years, I'll hear thee.
Be bloody, bold, and resolute. Laugh to scorn the power of man, for none of woman born shall harm Macbeth.
None of woman born shall harm Macbeth. Then live, Macduff. What need I fear of thee? But yet I'll make assurance double sure and take a bond of fate. Thou shalt not live. What is this that rises like the issue of a king and wears upon their baby brows the round and top of sovereignty?
Listen, but speak not to it.
Be lion-mettled, proud, and take no care who chafes, who frets, or where conspirers are. Macbeth shall never vanquish, being till great Burnham Wood to high Dunsinane Hill shall come against him.
That will never be. Who can impress the forest? Bid the tree unfix his earthbound root. Sweet Bodman's good. Rebellious dead rise never till the wood of Burnham rise, and our high-placed Macbeth shall live the lease of nature, pay his breath to time and mortal custom. Yet my heart throbs to know one thing. Tell me, if your art can tell so much, shall Banquo's issue ever reign in this kingdom?
Seek to know no more.
I will be satisfied. Deny me this and an eternal curse fall on you. Let me know. What noise is this?
Show!
Show!
Show his eyes and grieve his heart. Come thy shadows so depart.
Thou art too like the spirit of Banquo. Down, thy crown does sear mine eyeballs. And thy hair, thou other ink-bound brow, is like the first. A third is like the former. Filthy hags, why do you show me this? A fourth? Stark eyes, what, will the lines stretch out to the crack of doom? Another yet. A seventh. I'll see no more. And yet the eighth appears, who bears a glass, which shows me many more. And some I see that twofold balls and troubled scepters carry. Horrible sight. Now I see 'tis true, for the blood bolter, the ghost of Banquo, smiles upon me, and points at them for his. What? Is this so?
Aye, sir, all this is so. But why stands Macbeth thus amazedly? Come, sisters, cheer we up his sprites, and show the best of our delights. Out on the air to give a sound. Now you perform your antic round. That this great king can highly say his duty did our welcome pay.
hour stand. I accurse it in the calendar. Come in without there!
What is your grace's will?
Saw you the weird sisters?
No, my lord.
Came they not by you?
No, indeed, my lord.
Infected be the air whereon they ride, and damned all those that trust them. I did hear the galloping of horse. Who was it came by?
'Twas through a frieze, my lord, that read you word. Macduff is fled to England.
Fled to England.
Aye, my good lord.
Time thou anticipatest my dread exploits. The flighty purpose never is o'ertook unless the deed go in. From this moment, the very firstlings of my heart shall be the firstlings of my hand. And even now, to crown my thoughts with acts, be it thought and done. The castle of Macduff I will surprise. Seize upon Fife, give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes, and all unfortunate souls that trace him in his line. No boasting like a fool. This deed I'll do before this purpose cool. But no more sights. Where are these gentlemen? Come, bring me where they are.
What have you done to make him fly the land?
You must have patience, madam.
He had none. His flight was madness. When our actions do not, our fears do make us traitors.
You know not whether it was his wisdom or his fear.
Wisdom? To leave his wife? To leave his babes? His mansion and his titles in a place from whence himself did fly? He loves us not. He wants the natural touch. For the poor wren, the most diminutive of birds, will fight, her young ones in their nest, against the owl. All is the fear, and nothing is the love. As little is the wisdom, where the flight so runs against all reason.
My dearest coz, I pray you school yourself. But for your husband, he is noble, wise, judicious, and best knows the fits of the season. I dare not speak much further, but cruel are the times when we are traitors and do not know ourselves. When we hold rumor from what we fear, yet know not what we fear, but float upon a wild and violent sea, each way and move. Take my leave of you. Shall not be long, but I'll be here again. Things at the worst will cease, or else climb upward to what they were before. My pretty cousin, blessing upon you.
Fathered he is, and yet he's fatherless.
I am so much a fool. Should I stay longer, it would be my disgrace and your discomfort. I take my leave at once.
Cyril. Your father's dead. And what will you do now? How will you live?
As birds do, Mother.
What, with worms and flies?
With what I get, I mean. And so do they.
Poor bird. Thou didst never fear the net nor line, the pitfall nor the gin.
Why should I, Mother? Poor birds, they are not set for. My father is not dead, for all you're saying.
Yes, he's dead. How wilt thou do for a father?
Nay, how will you for a husband?
Well, I can buy me 20 at any market.
Then you'll buy to sell again.
Thou speakest with all thy wit, and yet in faith with wit enough for thee.
Was my father a traitor, Mother?
Aye, that he was.
What is a traitor?
Aye, one that swears and lies.
And the old traitors that do so?
Everyone that does so is a traitor and must be hanged.
You shall be hanged for swear and lie?
Everyone.
Who must hang?
Why, the honest men.
Then the lions were as fools.
Where's your husband?
I hope in no place so unsanctified, where such as thou mayest find him.
He's a traitor.
Thou lives of Shakespeare.
Shade, and there weep our sad bosoms empty.
Let us rather hold fast the mortal sword, and like the good men bestride our downfall and burden. Each new morn, new widows howl, new orphans cry, and new sorrows strike heaven on the face, that it resounds as if it felt with Scotland, and yelled out like a syllable of dolor.
What I believe I'll wail, what no believe, and what I can redress as I shall find the time to friend, I will. What you have spoke, it may be so, perchance. This tyrant whose sole name blisters our tongues was once thought honest. You have loved him well. He hath not touched you yet. I am young, but something you may deserve of him through me, in the wisdom to offer up a weak, poor, innocent lamb to appease an angry God.
I am not treacherous.
But Macbeth is. A good and virtuous nature may recoil in an imperial charge. But I shall crave your pardon. That which you are, my thoughts cannot transpose. Angels are bright still, though the brightest fell. Though all things foul would wear the brows of grace, grace must still look so.
I have lost my hopes.
Perchance even there where I did find my doubts. Why in that rawness left you wife and child, those precious motives, those strong knots of love without leave-taking? I pray you, let not my jealousies be your dishonors, but mine own safeties. You may be rightly just, whatever I shall think.
Bleed, bleed, poor country. Great tyranny, lay thou thy bases sure. For goodness dare not check thee, worthy thy wrongs, thy title is appeared. Fare thee well, Lord. I would not be the villain that thou thinkest, for the whole space within the tyrant's grasp, and the rich east to boot.
Be not offended. I speak not in absolute fear of you. I think our country sinks beneath the yoke. It weeps, it bleeds, and each new day a gash is added to her wounds. I think withal there would be hands uplifted in my right. And here from gracious England I have offer of goodly thousands. Yet for all this, when I shall tread upon the tyrant's hair, wear it on my sword, yet my poor country shall have more vices than it had before, more suffer in more sundry ways than ever my hand that shall succeed.
And what should he be?
It is myself, I mean, and whom I know all the particulars of vice so grafted, that when they shall be opened, black Macbeth will seem as pure as snow, and the poor state esteem him as a lamb being compared with my confineless arms.
Not in the legions of horrid hell can come a devil more damned and evil than to top Macbeth.
I grant him bloody, luxurious, avaricious, false, deceitful, sudden, malicious, smacking of every sin that has a name. But there is no bottom, none, in my voluptuousness. Your wives, your daughters, your matrons, and your maids could not fill up the cistern of my lust. My desire all continent impediments would overbear that did oppose my will. Better Macbeth than such a one to reign.
Boundless intemperance in nature is a tyranny. It hath been the untimely emptying of the happy throne and the fall of many kings. But do not fear to take upon you what is yours. You may convey your pleasures in the spacious plenty, and make so long seem the time when you so hoodwinked. We have willing dames enough, and there cannot be that vulture within you as to devour so many as will to greatness dedicate themselves, finding it so inclined.
With this, there grows in my most ill-composed affection such a staunchless avarice that, were I king, I should cut off the nobles for their lands, desire his jewels in this other's house, and my more having would be as a sauce to make me hunger more, that I should forge quarrels unjust against the good and loyal, destroying them for wealth.
This avarice sticks deeper, grows with more pernicious roots than summer-saving lust, and hath been the sword of our slain kings. But do not fear. Scotland hath poisons enough to fill up your will, of your mere own. All these are portable, other graces waiting.
But I have none. The king becoming graces is justice, verity, temperance, stableness, bounty, perseverance, mercy, lowliness, devotion, patience, courage, fortitude. I have no relish of them, but abound in the division of each several crime, acting it in many ways. Nay, had I power, I should pour the sweet milk of concord into hell. Uproar the universal peace. Confound all unity on earth.
Oh, Scotland, Scotland!
If such a one be fit to govern, speak. I am as I have spoken.
Fit to govern? No, not to live. O nation miserable, with an untitled tyrant's bloody scepter, when shall I see thy wholesome days again? When the truest issue to the throne, by his own interdiction, does stand accursed in blasphemous breed. Thy royal father was a saint's king. The queen that bore thee, often on her knees than on her feet, died every day she lived. Fare thee well, Lord. These evils that thou repeatest upon thyself hath banished me from Scotland. Oh, my breast, thy hope ends here.
Macduff, this noble passion, child of integrity, hath from my soul wiped the black scruples, reconciled my thoughts to thy good truth and honor. Devilish Macbeth, by many of these strains, hath sought to win me into his power, and modest wisdom plucks me from overcredulous haste. But God above deal between thee and me. For even now I put myself to thy direction, and unspeak mine own detraction. Here abjure the taints and blames I laid upon myself for strangers to my nature. I am not yet known to woman, never was forsworn, scarcely have coveted what was mine own, at no time broke my faith, would not betray the devil to his fellow, and delight no less in truth than life. My first false speaking was this upon myself. What I am truly is thine and my poor country's to command. Whither indeed, before thy here approach, old seaward with 10,000 warlike men, already a point was setting forth. Now we'll together, and the chance of goodness be like our warranted war. Why are you silent?
Such welcome and unwelcome things at once. 'Tis hard to reconcile. See who comes here.
My countryman, but I know him not.
Ever gentle cousin, welcome hither.
I know him now. Good God, but times remove the means that make us strangers.
Sir, all men.
Stand Scotland where it did.
Alas, poor country, almost afraid to know itself. It cannot be called our mother, but our grave, where nothing but who knows nothing is once seen to smile, where sighs and groans and shrieks that rent the air are made, not marked, where violent sorrow seems a modern ecstasy. The dead man's knell is there scarce asked for who, and good men's lives expire before the flowers in their cap, dying, or ere they sicken.
O relation, too nice and yet too true.
What's the newest grief?
That of an hour's age doth hiss the speaker. Each minute seems a new one.
How goes my wife?
Why, well.
And my children?
Well, too.
The tyrant hath not battered at their peace.
No, they were well at peace when I did leave them.
Do not be a niggard of your speech. How goes?
When I came hither to transport the tidings, which I had heavily borne, there ran a rumor of many worthy fellows that were out, which was to my belief witnessed the rather for I saw the tyrant's power afoot. Now is the time of help. Here I in Scotland would create soldiers, make our women fight to doff their dire distresses.
Be it their comfort, we are coming thither. Gracious England hath lent us good seaward and 10,000 men, an older and better soldier none that Christendom gives out.
Would I could answer this comfort with the like, but I have words that would be howled out in the desert air, where hearing should not latch them.
What's concerned it? Is it the general cause, or some fee grief due to a single breast?
No mind that's honest, but in it shares some woe, though the main part pertains to you alone.
Well, if it be mine, keep it not from me, quickly. Let me have it.
Let not your ears despise my tongue forever, which shall possess them with the heaviest sound that ever yet they heard.
I guess it.
Your castle was surprised, your wife and babe savagely slaughtered. To relate the manner on the quarry of these murdered deer, to add the death of you.
Merciful heaven. What, man? Never pull your hat upon your brows. Give sorrow words. The grief that does not speak whispers the overfraught heart, it bids it break.
My children killed?
Wife, children, servants, all that could be found.
Then I must be from thence. My wife killed too?
I have said, be comforted. Let us make medicines of our great revenge to cure this deadly grief.
He has no children. Did you say all? All my free chicks? All my free chicks in their dam? At one fell swoop?
Dispute it like a man.
I shall do so. But I must also feel it as a man. And I but remember such things were so precious to me. Did heaven look on and not take their part? Signor Macduff, they were struck down for thee. Not as I am, not for thy own demerits, but for mine. Fell slaughtered upon their souls. I've been resting now.
Be this the whetstone of your sword. Let grief convert to anger. Bloods not the heart, enrage it.
Oh, I could slay the woman with my eyes and the brackets with my tongue. But gentle heavens cut short all intermission. Front to front bring this fiend of Scotland and myself, and within my sword's linked set him. And if he escape, heaven forgive him too.
This tune goes manly. Come, we go to the king. Our power is ready. Our lack is nothing but our leave. Macbeth is ripe for the shaking, and the powers above put on their instruments. Receive what cheer you may. The night is long that never finds the day.
I have 2 nights watched with you, and can perceive no truth in your report. When was it she last walked?
Since His Majesty went into the field, I have seen her rise from her bed, throw her nightgown upon her, unlock her closet, take forth paper, fold it, write upon it, read it, afterwards seal it, and return again to bed. Yet all this while in a most fast sleep.
A great perturbation in nature. To receive at once the benefit of sleep and to the effects of watching. In this slumbering agitation, besides her walking and other actual performances, what, at any time, have you heard her say?
That, sir, which I will not repeat after her.
You may to me, and 'tis most sweet you should.
Neither to you nor to anyone, having no witness to confirm my speech. Lo, you, here she comes. This is her very guise, and upon my life, fast asleep. Observe her, stand close.
How came she by that light?
Why, it stood by her. She has a light by her continually. 'Tis her command.
You see, her eyes are open.
Aye, but their sense are shut.
What is it she does now? Look how she rubs her hands.
It is an accustomed action with her to seem thus washing her hands. I have known her continue in this a quarter of an hour.
Yet here's a spot.
How she speaks. I will set down what comes from her to satisfy my remembrance the more strongly.
Out, damn spot. Out, I say. 1, 2. By then, 'tis time to do it. Aye, my lord, fie. A soldier in a beard. What need we fear, who knows it, when none can call a power to account? Yet who would have thought the old man to have had such blood in him?
Do you mock that?
The thane of my Madeline, where is she now? No more that, my lord, no more that. You mar all with this starting.
Go to, you have known what you should not.
She has spoke what she should not, I am sure of that. Heaven knows what she has known.
Here's the smell of blood still. All the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this land.
Filthy witness.
Oh, what a sigh is there. The heart is sorely charged.
I would not have such a heart in my bosom for the dignity of the whole body.
Well.
Pray God it be, sir.
This disease is beyond my practice. Yet I have known those which have walked in their sleep, who have died holily in their beds.
Wash your hands. Put on your nightgown. Look not so pale. I tell you, yet again, Pink was buried. He cannot come out on his grave.
Even so.
To bed. To bed. There's knocking at the gate. Come. Give me your hand. What's
Unnatural deeds do breed unnatural troubles. Infected minds to their deaf pillows will discharge their secrets. More need she the divine than the physician. God, forgive us all. Look after her. Remove from her the means of all annoyance and still keep eyes upon her. So good night. My mind she has mated and amazed my sight. I think, but dare not speak.
Good night, good doctor.
English power is near, led on by Malcolm, his uncle Seward, and the good Macduff. Revenge is burden them, for their dear causes go to the bleeding and the grim alarm, sight to the mortified man.
Or so much as it needs. To do the sovereign flower and drown the weeds. Make we our march towards Burnham. Bring me no more reports. Let them fly all. Till Burnham would remove to Dunsinane, I cannot take with fear. What's the boy Malcolm? Was he not born of woman? The spirits that know all mortal consequences have pronounced me thus. Fear not, Macbeth. No man that's born of woman shall ever have power upon thee. And then fly false things and mingle with the English epicures. The mind I sway by, the heart I bear, shall never sag with doubt nor shake with fear. The devil damn thee black, thou cream-faced little. Where dost thou that goose look?
There's 10,000
Geese, villain?
soldiers, sir.
Go prick thy face and overread thy fear. What soldier's patch? Death of thy soul, those linen cheeks of thine are counselors to fear. What soldier's way face?
The English service, so please you.
Take thy face hence. Satan, I am sick at heart when I behold. Satan, I say. This push will cheer me ever or deceit me now. I have lived long enough. My way of life has fallen into the sear, the yellow leaf, and that which should accompany old age as honor, love, obedience, troops of friends I must not look to have, but in their stead curses, not loud but deep, mouth honor, breath which the poor heart would fain deny and dare not. Satan!
What is thy gracious pleasure?
What news more?
All is confirmed, my lord, which was reported.
I'll fight till from my bones my flesh be hacked. Give me my armor.
'Tis not needed yet.
I'll put it on. Send out more horses. Scur the country round. Hang those that talk of fear. Give me my armor. How does your patient, doctor?
Not so sick, my lord, as she is troubled with thick-coming fancies that keep her from her rest.
Cure her of that. Canst thou not minister to a mind diseased? Pluck from the memory a rooted sorrow. Raise out the written troubles of the brain, and with some sweet oblivious antidote, cleanse the stuffed bosom of that perilous stuff which weighs upon the heart.
Therein the patient must minister to himself.
Throw physic to the dogs, I'll none of it. Come put mine armor on. Give me my shield. Satan, send out. Doctor, the things fly from me. Come, sir, dispatch. If thou couldst, doctor, cast the water of my land, find her disease, and purge it to a sound and pristine health, I would applaud thee to the very echo that should applaud again. Pull it off, I say. What rhubarb senna, what purgative drug would scour these English heads? Hearest thou of them?
Aye, my good lord, your royal preparation makes us hear something.
Bring it after me. I will not be afraid of death and bane, till Burnham Forest come to Dunsinane.
Were I from Dunsinane away and clear, profit again should hardly draw me here.
Cousins, I hope the days are near at hand and Chambers will be safe.
We doubted nothing. What wood is this before us?
The wood of Burnham.
Let every soldier hew him down a bough and bear it before him. Thereby shall we shatter the numbers of our host and make discovery err in report of us.
It shall be done. We learn no other but the confident tyrant keeps still in Dunsinane and will endure our sitting down before it.
'Tis his main hope. For where there is advantage to be gone, both more and less have given him the revolt, and none serve with him but constrained things whose hearts are absent too.
Let our just censures attend the true event, and put we on industrious soldiership.
The time approaches that will with due decision make us know what we shall say we have and what we owe. Thoughts speculative, they're unsure hopes relate, but certain issue strokes must arbitrate, towards which advance the war.
Hang out our banners on the outward walls. The cry is still, they come. Our castle's strength will laugh a siege to scorn. Here let them lie till famine and the ague eat them up. Were they not forced with those, they should be ours. We might have met them dareful beard to beard and beat them backward home. What is that noise?
It's the cry of women, my good lord.
I have almost forgot the taste of fears. The time has been, my senses would have cooled to hear a night shriek, and my fell of hair when at a dismal treatise rouse and stir as life remnant. I've supped full with horrors. Direness familiar to my slaughterous thoughts cannot once start me. Wherefore was that cry?
The queen, my lord, is dead.
She should have died hereafter. There would have been time for such a word. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow. Poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
No!
Thou comest to use thy tongue, thy story quickly.
Gracious my lord, I should report that which I say I saw, but know not how to do it.
Well, say, sir.
As I did stand my watch upon the hill, I looked toward Burnham and anon. Thought the wood began to move.
Fire is slain.
Let me endure your wrath if it be not so. Within this 3 mile may you see it coming. I say, a moving grove.
If thou speakst false, upon the next tree shalt thou hang alive till famine clean thee. If thy speech be sooth, I care not if thou dost for me as much. I pull in resolution, begin to doubt the equivocation of the theme that lies like truth. Fear not till Burnham wood do come to Dunsinane. And now, a wood comes toward Dunsinane. Arm and out. If this which he avouches does appear, there's no flying hence nor tarrying here. I begin to be aweary of the sun. I wish the estate of the world were now undone. Ring the alarm bell. Blow, wind. Come, rack. At least we'll die with harness on our back.
Now, near enough. You leave these trees, throw down, and show like those you are. You, worthy uncle, shall with my cousin, your right noble son, lead our first battle. Worthy Macduff and we shall take upon us what else to do according to our order.
Fare you well. Do we defy the tyrant's power tonight? Let us be beaten if we cannot fight.
Make the trumpet speak. Give them breath, those clamorous harbingers of blood and death.
They have tied me to a stake. I cannot fly, but bear-like I must fight the course. What's he that was not born of woman? Such a one am I to fear or none.
What is thy name?
Thou'lt be afraid to hear it.
No, though thou callest thyself a hotter name than any is in hell.
My name's Macbeth.
The devil himself cannot pronounce a title more hateful to mine ear.
No, nor more fearful.
Thou liest, abhorred tyrant. With my sword I'll prove the lie thou speakst.
Thou wast born of woman. But swords I smile at, weapons laughed to scorn, brandished by man that's of a woman born.
That's what the noise is. Tyrant, show thy face. If thou be slain with no sword of mine, then the ghosts of my wife and children haunt me still. I cannot strike at red kerns whose arms are hired to bear their staves. Either thou, Macbeth, or else my sword with an unbuzzed age that sheath again undeeded. There thou shouldst be. By this great cloud of one of greatest note seems brutal. Let me find him, fortune, and more I beg not.
This way, my lord. The castle's gently rendered. The tyrants' people on both sides do fight. The noble thanes do bravely in the war. The day almost itself professes yours, and little is to do.
We have met with foes that strike beside us.
Enter, sir, the castle.
Why should I play the Roman fool and die upon mine own sword? Well as I see lives, the gashes do better upon them.
Turn, hellhound, turn.
Of all men else I have avoided thee. But get thee back. My soul is too much charged with blood of thine already.
I have no words. My voice is my sword, thou bloody villain. Then turn to give thee out.
Thou losest labor. As easy mayst thou, the entrenched air with thy keen sword impresses make me bleed. Let fall thy blade on vulnerable crests. I bear a charmed life, which must not yield to one of woman born.
Spare thy charm, and let the angel that thou still serve tell thee that Macduff is from his mother's womb untimely ripped.
Accursed be that tongue that tells me so, for it hath cowed my better part of men. And be these juggling fiends no more believed, that palter with us in a double sense. They keep the word of promise to our ear and break into our hope. I'll not fight with thee.
Then yield thee, coward, and live to be the show and gaze of time. We'll have thee as our rarer monsters are, painted upon a pole and under which, here you may see the tyrant.
I will not yield to kiss the ground before young Malcolm's feet, and to be baited with the rabble's curse. Though Burnham would become to Dunsinane, and thou opposed being of no woman born, yet I will try the last. Before my body, I throw my warlike shield. Lay on, Macduff, and damned be him that first cries, hold, enough.
Some must go off, and yet by these I see so great a day as this is cheaply bought.
Macduff is missing, and your noble son.
Your son, my lord, has paid a soldier's debt. He only lived until he was a man, the which no sooner had his prowess confirmed in the unshrinking station where he fought, but like a man he died.
And he is dead.
Aye, and brought off the field. Your cause of sorrow must not be measured by his worth, for then it hath no end.
Had he his hurts before?
Aye, on the front.
And then God's soldier be he. Had I as many sons as I have hairs, I would not wish them to a fairer death. And so his Nell, his Noel.
He's worth more sorrow, and that I'll spend for him.
He's worth no more. They say he parted well, and paid his scorn. And so God be with him. Here comes newer comfort.
Hail, King, for so thou art. Behold where stands the usurper's scourged head. The time is free. I see thee compassed in thy kingdom's pearls, that speak my salutations with their minds, whose voices aloud I desire with mine. Hail, King of Scotland!
Hail, King of Scotland! We shall not spend a large expanse of time before we reckon with your several loves, and make us even with you. My thanes and kinsmen, henceforth be earls, the first that ever Scotland had such an honor named. What's more to do, which would be newly planted with the time, as calling home our exiled friends abroad, that fled the snares of watchful tyranny, producing forth the cruel ministers of this dead butcher and his fiend-like queen, who, as 'tis reported, by self-and-violent hands took off her life. This, and what needful else call upon us by the grace of grace, we will perform and measure time and place. So thanks to all at once, and to each one, whom we invite to see us crowned at Scope.